Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. Axon was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with Axon, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. Axon carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast number 212. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information, check out agmarkets.com. Also, tractorzoom. And Aaron, if you wanted to go and talk about the auction market and really kind of get a good feel for what's going on, where would you go, sir?
Well, without a doubt, you'd go to tractorzoom iron comps.
Damn right. Tell you what, the good thing about that is you get to see all the trend lines develop and how they've developed over the last 2 or 3 years. You get to see the information that's out there right now, and most importantly, you get to see what the current auction inventory looks like upcoming.
Absolutely.
So it gives you a good picture of what we think is going to happen and how that's going to affect the market.
And not to be spoiler alert, but when you pull up on there and look at current trends, everything's a spike. So just skip that part and go to the next phase of what you're looking at.
Yep. If you want all this great information and decide to move forward with a subscription to the Iron Comp side of TractorZoom, use Moving Iron at checkout and get yourself a super sweet discount. And who doesn't like a discount more than Aaron Fennell?
I love discounts.
Discounts are awesome. They're the best. All right, so Aaron and I have been kicking around the idea of what to do, and I've had more than one conversation with people about this particular bubble of sorts that we're in right now. This the balloon is getting blown up as we speak rapidly, and what does that look like? So I've had conversations of, oh, this is short-lived. We don't see how this can possibly keep happening. Blah, 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 blah. It's only been 7 years since the last gargantuan spike and what have you and whatnot. I've also had the other side of the camp that this looks like a prolonged thing, and really no matter what happens with the amount of used inventory leaving the marketplace right now, there's going to be a void there that'll get have some time to get filled back up. Aaron, what kind of conversations have you been having about the situation that we're in right now?
Well, most of my daily world is just in the middle of the bubble. So I don't get very, very in depth with, is it a bubble? Is it kind of a norm? Are we a plateau? Is it a spike? I don't get into a lot of that because I'm all day, every minute of the day inside the bubble. Just personal thought, they find all these magical acres, right? Which they found them all again this year.
They're 4.5 million acres short.
Huh?
They're 4.5 million acres short.
I'm talking the projected planting.
Yeah, so am I. There were like a mythical 4.5 million acres that didn't have a name.
Oh, right. But that's what I'm getting at is things go way up and it's, well, all of a sudden there's all these acres. And like I saw a few guys mentioning the other day, that's because, okay, you have, take my childhood operation, for instance. You're going to dedicate even some good ground to feed, oat hay, pea hay, Sudan grass. It's not all crop production. Now, you get up into these prices, well, we'll buy hay because we're going to plant high dollar corn, high dollar soybeans, But so that's where some people think a lot of that's coming from. A lot of it is CRP. Unfortunately, I hate saying that because a lot of CRP is CRP for a reason. But I mean,
pheasant habitat.
There you go. Exactly. But I mean, that's just like you were saying. You see a lot of different angles with it. Personal thought is, I don't see it lasting super long at all, just because the American farmer is just absolutely the best there is at his job, and we're just going to bang everything full. And, well, that was fun. What do we do next year?
Yep. Yeah, I think I am of the opinion that I could see this having a 3-year effect on the marketplace. Really, if you take a look at what happened in 2012, kind of go back historically, the build-up from 2009 to 2012 was pretty big. And even with
but it was steady.
Right, it was a steady climb.
This is like overnight.
Yeah, but the problem with the overnight thing right now is the fact that
nobody was ready for it.
Well, the steady,
that's the overnight part, Aaron. Thanks for being on the podcast.
The slow and steady part of that 2009, 10, 11, 12 run was that it was steadily growing. There was a lot of things happening. China was buying a bunch. They were really growing. The outside markets were in shambles because that's the 2008 deal. So there should have been no reason for interest rates to, things were just so good. Interest rates were bad. They're throwing out all these different things at us. They had all these different Section 179, all those things came through.
Right.
Those kind of things all happened. But there was a steady increase in what happened. Then, boom, 2012 happens, right? Epic drought. The national average, I think, was like 125 or 135 or something like that. 50 to 60 bushels an acre below the normal average. At the time, you know what I mean? So now you start talking about that. Now, the reason there was such a colossal jump in price had nothing to do with anything other than the USDA finally was like, so prevent plant means they don't plant anything? Is that what that means? Now I'm finally captioning on. Oh, okay, so cool. So we don't have as much corn as we thought we did. We don't have as many soybeans as we thought we did. What? Brazil did what? They sold every soybean to China they possibly could. Now they don't have any of their own? Okay, cool. World stocks around the world are as tight as they've ever been. Like, so tight that
right now,
a cough turns into full-blown pneumonia by the end of the week, right? It's so tight. So one minor hiccup, one little thing out there that disrupts the overall planting cycle, some crazy thing happens with harvest, some weird thing happens in the middle, like whether it's a drought or early freeze or whatever,
Well, okay.
Right.
Point on that, right? I just spent a day and a half in our neighbors to the south.
Uh-huh.
A liberal place to be, if you will.
Oh, you're in Colorado.
Yes. There you go.
I'm tracking. All right. Well, they're like your neighbor, like south neighbor, like just down the road.
No.
Wow, where's that at?
That's why I said our neighbors. It's the same neighbor. I should have just said I was in Colorado. I was trying to
pretty cool.
Trying to pretty it up a little bit.
Right.
Radio ads about now. Make sure you continue to wear your mask to protect yourself against the other strains of COVID that are developing. Like, how damn long is this going to go on? So there you go.
Forever.
They're already like you're talking about something happening, the slightest thing derailing things. And that's why it's not going to be short-lived, right? Well, there you go. Case in point. What have we been dealing with for over a year now?
Yep.
The Rona.
Yep.
Everywhere, all day, all the time.
I think the coronavirus has settled down to a point where, I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, there's states out there that are just now opening up to where, I mean, to be honest with you, here in Scottsbluff and in the Panhandle of Nebraska, I mean, I don't think it ever really changed. I mean,
no.
we had that shutdown thing, and we did all those kind of things this time last year where we were kind of going through all that, but really, mask mandates and those kind of things are really a thing of the past. I mean,
right.
There's some places you still wear them, those kind of things, but obviously in nursing homes and those kind of things. But, what I'm talking about more is when supply is as tight as it is, and, I mean, really from all what I've read and what I've seen out there, and the guys that are on the podcast, Chip Nellinger and Sean Hackett, those guys. I mean, really, if we have a normal yield, normal growing season, and everything's come back, we're not really like going to have a bunch of carry out.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
And I think it was Chip I saw say this, that we are almost at 100% use rate.
Right. Yeah.
And given time of year, whatever, we're way over. Very rarely are we way under. So if we're way over and never way under, by the time you stretch that through the whole year, explain this one thing to me, okay? We use everything we can grow. And we were trying to grow more and more and more. And you have all the marketing about 2050 and feeding the world, and all that. Why isn't it just, if you take all of that and make one stew out of it, okay? Why isn't it just to be Bill Gates to grow corn? Like, they are forcing money at me to grow this.
You lost me on that whole thing.
Because, okay, if we're using everything,
right,
why is corn ever not $10?
Well, it's a commodity base. It's a supply and demand driven.
I know,
thing.
But the supply is taken.
But here's the thing, though: you're relying on one agency to do that. It wasn't until January of 2020 that they finally, or 2021, finally the USDA realized, like, I guess in 2019 when we got all that rain, you can't grow corn in a flood.
Right.
Wow.
No, I
mean,
know.
that's the point, though. I mean,
yeah.
They just now, fixed all of that. Had they done all of that and fixed all that stuff and did everything they would have had. Now, we had so many things happen during that time frame. Coronavirus drove down every market there was, right? Corn was at $3. I was like, am I going to see $2.99 today? You know what I mean? That's what it was. Oil was like, come just take it.
Right.
I'm willing to pay you $36 to come pick it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, go swipe your card and just
right.
let the pump run on the ground.
Yeah. I mean, all the cattle and those kind of things. I mean, right. All of that stuff. And then it went from that to where we're at today. That was in, what was that, May? March? April, May? Sometime like in that time frame?
What's that? The shutdown was March.
Right, but that huge collapse in the marketplace. I mean, it was like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's been about a year ago. So here we go. A year ago, I got to, you're doubling prices almost, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you're almost point. A $6 corn. Front month corn, you're almost a $6 corn. I got to go back and look and see what December corn looks like right now, but it's like $4.75, I think, if I remember right, something like that. So I mean, it's in that range somewhere, but it's doubling. And that front month corn and soybeans and all those kind of things, there's that discount between the December and November contracts, and you see that, and you start looking at these disconnects, and what we see, that's just like the next month now is now what the previous month was. We're going to add 10 cents to it, right?
Right.
That's how it's going. So now, on the flip side of all this, we had this report come out. We had corn go up, limit up. We had soybeans go limit up. Wheat went limit. I mean, everything was limit up. limit up. I think Friday, if I remember correctly, and today is the 3rd of April. If I remember right, on Friday, when I looked at the board when it closed, beans were down like 36 cents. You know what I mean? So that's that volatility that we're seeing there. So
right.
The reason I think that we have this thing here, even if commodity prices pick up and things go the way they're going, and we start seeing we see a contraction in the commodity marketplace, with the amount of used equipment that's been sold at market over the last 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. There's enough space in there, enough of a void that you can pile it back up in there, and you've got about 3 years of time to get back to where we were. If things went back to the way they were 2017, 18, 19, right? That you would have three years of space now that we have eroded out of the used equipment marketplace, which in this particular case, this erosion is good. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you've taken this chunk, this glut, this clog in the funnel out of the used equipment marketplace, and you've moved it out, what you've actually done is you've opened up space to regenerate that normal trade cycle again. Now you've got guys that can start talking about the 1 year old guy is always going to be there, the 2 to 3 year guy, the 5 to 7 year guy. All these different things now have that room to redevelop and grow back into what we know as a normal trade cycle in the used equipment marketplace.
Other than the fact that, and I've seen it nationwide, a lot of people are jumping on the 2012 trade cycle.
Right. And,
oh man, we got $5. Get that new 780 on order now.
I think that the one thing about this, and I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here. That's
well, I think I already took that crown for the night. I've been pretty damn pessimistic for a Johnny Rainbow all the time.
My biggest fear that I have right now for the 2021 growing cycle and how that's going to affect prices and in effect go back and then affect what we see happening in the marketplace is, unlike 2012, we had a lot of rain in the spring. 2012,
right?
The problem with 2012,
well, certain areas did.
Pretty much everybody did. You had a pretty healthy amount of rain come through in the spring. What happened there was it went from being, because you want to remember, like 2012. So if you go back to like 11, 10, 9. Heavy wet springs, cool temperatures, really got stuff going, not a lot of stress, 20, and then you had a decent amount of rain throughout the years, blah, blah. 2012 comes, that same cycle starts out, and then
stops.
They shut the faucet off, and and by the way, now we're going to turn the temperature up to 4 billion degrees.
Right.
High five. Good luck to you. You know what I mean? And that's what happened in 2012.
Oh, yeah.
This year, if you take a look at where we're at now, is
I just remember, I will forever, since this is about machinery and whatnot, two things. Every time we talk about commodities, my curiosity in December almonds never ceases to end.
These nuts?
It does.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And the best thing about 2012 was you could not have enough choppers on your lot.
No, you couldn't.
It was fantastic.
It's fantabulous. Yes,
I just absolutely adored every second of that.
Yeah.
Oh, you got that old John Deere 38 in the tree row and a 2-row wide head? We'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, sign here.
Yeah. I mean, so the big difference to me when you look at 2012 versus now is that depending on where you're at in the country, you've had some decent snowfall over the winter months, but it hasn't been enough, right? Yeah, you're planning into some decent moisture now. Like we had a hell of a storm come through here where we got a foot or better of heavy wet snow, but
with like an inch and a half of rain before.
Yeah, I mean some guys are getting like 5, 6, 7 inches of moisture out of the storm,
right? Which
is still like counting from like January, July 1st of last year till now. We got 6 inches of rain.
Yeah, that is it.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it's one of those things where we're planting into some drier conditions than what we've seen in the past, and if we do have this drought, can you watch drought maps? And that drought map, there's like a hard line between like right down the middle of Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri. Like there's a hard line there. If you're east of that line, you're good to go. If you're west of that line, all the way to China, you're dry.
Yeah, and that's the worst part. It is the entire western half of the country.
Right.
The whole thing.
Right.
When you look at the drought monitor, it's all at least tan. A hell of a lot of it's red.
Right.
Red.
And some of those they've had to come up with new colors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess my point is, I think there's a...
Congratulations, Four Corners. This week you're burgundy.
That's a new joke here. It's like, yeah, you guys are burnt orange. So there's some differences there. So if we do continue down this path and we run into this really big, epic drought thing, it's going to be worse than 2012.
Yeah. Really excited about it, given the fact I do a lot of dryland grass hay.
Yeah. So
it's pretty awesome.
But that doesn't, so how does that affect the used equipment marketplace? Everybody wants a drought except for on your farm.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now, if corn jumps way up and it's $8 again or whatever, and we hit this big number again, and we got, $16, $17, $18 beans again, it's not... I don't know how to say this without just saying it like this. Higher prices aren't necessarily good, right? That's great because you get to put a bunch of money in your pocket, but everything else comes up with it, right?
Right.
Input costs go up, and
instantly.
All these things that happen. You see equipment prices go up. All these different things, and not just new equipment, because that's a whole different thing that has nothing to do with anybody else, but all the manufacturers.
Right.
They have R&D costs they're trying to get back. They've got just supply costs, and this year of all, especially, still surcharges.
Right.
Holy crap, right?
Well, manufacturers don't bounce. Oh, corn went up, so your tractor went up 4%.
Right.
No, it doesn't work that way. Or you could never sell anything as a dealer.
Exactly.
Well, we ordered this last month, but you guys are way behind, and it got here, and it's twice as much.
Right.
No.
Yeah. What happens is, what really caused the 2014, 2015, 2016 problem that we had happen really was the fact that the price of commodities were so high that why would I buy a used one when I can afford? I can really buy that new one now.
Right.
I told you we're going to buy that new combine and that new tractor and that new sprayer all in 1 year. And by God, this year we're going to do it.
Yeah. 2012 was the year a 1,000-acre guy did a multi-unit deal.
That's right. But they have those are the kind of things that happen when you really step back and you put that whole thing in perspective. The used equipment problem that we had during that time frame wasn't because there weren't buyers coming to the market to buy stuff. They just weren't in the market to buy something used.
Right.
They're in the market like, wow, no. I got the tax benefit for it. I got this. I got that. I'm buying that. And I think we could see the same thing happen again, but in a different way, to where there's not, since there's not the used volume out there that we've seen in the past. I think that there's an opportunity that we'd have this kind of overarching issue pop up that there's not enough manufacturing space to build the new, to feed the supply that people want to come in, and there's not enough used to come in to fit in that gap. So where are we? How does that line cross? Does that 1 to 2 year old stuff become so expensive now that people don't want to buy it? They're just going to hold out and wait 6, 8 months, 9 months, whatever it is, to get that new one in. Or
that part shouldn't happen. If you have so much demand for new, you shouldn't have
but they're looking at
spike in 1 year old, the 1 or 2 year old.
The price. I'm talking about the price, not the volume.
No, I know. That's what I'm talking about too.
But I'm saying, like, there's not enough 1-year-old, 2-year-old.
The shortage will make them crazy high.
Right. So now am I looking at this going like, okay, you want...
All right, first of all, in the machinery business, shortage should never make anything crazy high. It'll give it a premium, like when we talked about combines, and I refuse to agree that any combine is premium. It will give it a premium, but if anybody... And that's up to the dealer who's trading it, right? If they think that, oh, well, we can't get any new ones, so this thing's made out of gold.
Okay.
Well, there it sits.
So what's the one thing I talk about here all the time? That's the canary in the coal mine. What am I always talking about? The auction values.
Okay. Right.
So auction value. If I'm looking at auction value, and these auction value prices are bringing the same dollar value
As dealer asked.
Or more, right? To me, that's an explosive market. That is a, blowing the top off the market type of deal.
But that's not everything across the board. That's select items.
Right. It's that 1 to 2 year old stuff that no one has. I mean, every auction we've watched so far.
No, what's worse is the 2000, the tractor we always talk about that I always complain about, the 2 to 4. In the used marketplace, that is the hottest tractor right this second.
The 2 to 4,000 hour tractor?
Yep.
Okay. So
the tractor that you always say, I think you've always kind of propped it up, and I'm like, dude, that thing, get it out of here.
It's a sweet spot, brother.
It is the sweetest spot right now.
Right. But the thing, what I'm trying to get to you at is that 1 to 2 year old machine, every auction that we've watched so far, right? Every one of them. The stuff that is sold for lots of money, where we are like, holy crap, we watch this stuff every day, and that's way more than I thought we'd ever see anything happen, right? But if we watch these things happen, those machines that really blew our minds were the machines, they were the unicorns of the time.
Right, yeah.
Right? They were that 250-hour combine. They were the 350-hour tractor. They were the, whatever. Those things. And they brought tons and tons and tons of money. The point I'm making back to this, is there a bubble of sorts happening in this 1-year-old marketplace because of how far out we're looking at new equipment across the board? Are they going to get to the point where the guy goes, you know what? If I can buy a new one for X and you want Y for your used one, I'll just wait for the new one. Until
there's a reason everybody's short. Brings up my point earlier.
Well, that's your supply and demand curve have to come together.
And the Rona thing. Until every factory building every part that goes into every machine is back to 100% normal, they're going to be behind.
Yeah, and that's the point. But
and it might be valve stems.
Right.
Because that comes out of California and they're social distancing until 2050.
So let's put this in perspective. All right. If you have a 1-year-old tractor that's got 250 hours on it, 300 hours on it, whatever it is, and hypothetically you want whatever, $350,000 for it, right? And I can order a brand new one. I can order that brand new tractor right now. Same horsepower range, everything about the same. It's just a year or two newer, or whatever it is. And this one's $350,000. This one over here is $450,000, right? There's $100,000 there, right? Now, $100,000 in when you break that down and how you look at that, I'm talking at, so forgive me here, I'm talking at 0% interest, which interest rates are coming up. That's the other thing that you got to factor into all this.
Correct.
Too, right? But just at 0% over 5 years, that $100,000, that's $20,000 a year, right? If you factor in 3% interest into that, you're going to be probably closer to $30,000 ish a year. Somewhere in that range, $28,000 to $32,000 a year, somewhere in that range. Rough math in my head here, but so if you're kind of factoring all those things into play, is somebody going to say, okay, you're already going to clip me for $60,000 or $70,000 a year here, right, is $88,000 a year going to make a difference enough for me to say I want to buy the used one today, or am I going to wait and get the new one when it comes in?
Well, the problem with that is it's exaggerated because nothing 1 or 2 years old is that far back of a new one.
That's why I use hypothetically.
Right. But that's what I'm getting at is the gap is even closer. I think it's going to come down to, first thing it's going to come down to, what's he trading?
Right.
If he's a 1-year-old guy, he's not trading that. Plus, that's kind of irrelevant. If he's a 1-year-old guy, it's worked out 2 or 3 years ahead of time anyway. But if he is a trade-in 3-year-old, 5-year-old, maybe he does that, and that I've seen that happen a lot. I'll trade for this now. Let's go ahead and order my other one. I want it a year from now. Let's get it on order to make sure it exists. And what are we going to trade for then? You just did 2 tractor deals right then and there.
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, I've seen that happen a million times, too.
And that guy, he went that used route because it's there. You know, it's there right now. I can touch it. It's not on, in a computer somewhere. It exists. It's there. I can touch it. It's real. He goes that route because he was trading in even a 3-year-old. He just jumped 2 years like, well, that's not what we do, but it'll work,
Right.
Maybe this one has a few more options that they don't order, but yeah, that's all right,
Yep. No, I mean, I agree with all that, and I think that's a perfect scenario. But just like in 2012, our problem in 2010 and 2009 wasn't the fact that we had old combines. Our problem is that we had just a mountain of combines that were 250 hours.
Our problem is we had as many trucks as could fit on I-80 rolling into stores every day with new 70 series combines.
That was true too, but I was also like, we also had a problem getting rid of, there's this myth in this business that there's never been a tractor problem, and that this.
There is, and we have it. And 2 podcasts ago, you and I argued that. The problem is, you have tractor problems. You have tractor problems every year, the more I think about it. The difference is tractor problems are so damn easy to fix compared to combine problems.
Sometimes I feel like in this industry that, that old Jay-Z song, I got 99 tractor problems, but a combine ain't one.
There you
know
go.
What I mean? And I feel like that's what this whole thing is, and that's just not true. There are tractor issues out there.
Yeah,
they might not be as prolonged. There might not be this drought and this like sustained issue that we see in combines year in, year out. But there are tractor problems that come.
The problem is this. Other than you take, say, a 10-store dealer, pretty common,
right?
Average, maybe. You take a 10-store dealer, that dealer is selling, how many new combines are they going to sell a year? Not 12 and not now, but normal.
It just depends on where they're at and what they're doing. But, I would guess somewhere between 30 and 50.
Okay, we'll go with 50.
Okay.
We'll max it out, right? They sell 50 new combines. That, out of all 50 of those combines, the 50 first trades that come in, there's 5 or less that are, I got to have that combine. With tractors, way less to do with that. That's why if you have a tractor problem, it's easy to fix.
It's easier to fix.
Easier to fix, yes.
Yes.
It's still, no, I'll say it's easy to fix.
It's easier to fix.
No, it's easy to fix.
But here's the thing. Every dealer on the planet sits back and is like, you know what? We'll just take these combines or these tractors or these whatever, and we'll go sell them to other dealers because we're on the island someplace and we're the only one with this problem. Or the only one with this whatever, right? Let's go back 6 months to a 4,000 hour. Well, the same tractor right now you said that was the hot tractor, that 2,000 to 4,000 hour tractor.
Okay,
right. Let's go back in time 6 months, 8 months. Not as hot of a deal.
No,
almost not. I mean, it was really to the point where like, sure, like someone to come talk to me about a 3,500.
Yeah, like I wish
whatever.
it was a 7,000 hour, $90,000 tractor,
right,
or a 1,000 hour, $270,000 tractor.
Exactly, right? So now you fast forward in time, some money's coming up, a little more conservative. People are watching the commodity prices like, do you remember 6 months ago corn was $3, right?
Right.
Now it's whatever, it's almost $6, right?
Yeah.
So guys are going like, but also commodity prices jumped way up. I mean, not like someone was like, you know what, I think I'm going to hold out to March because I feel like commodity prices are going to jump then.
Right.
I'm going to double my money.
Right.
Like, no, I mean, more people sold $3.70 corn
Oh, yeah.
than they sold $5 corn, right?
Oh, yeah.
More people sold $3.70 corn than sold $3.75 corn.
Right.
Right? Okay, I mean, this is... So, I mean, I think when you look at the grand picture thing, there's just... I hear this myth that we never have a tractor problem. It's not true, man. There's so many... I can give you so many historical points that show tractor problems as big as combine problems.
But tractor problems are easier to fix.
They heal those, so they come back. It's a shorter span of time.
Because they're used all year?
I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, if you go back and look at...
Your cyclical... Your cycles of the tractor market, when you look at it cyclically...
They're shorter.
Oh, yeah.
They're way shorter.
They are just boom, boom. It's peaks and valleys. It's not...
It's a W curve, dude.
These big... Yeah. There you go.
It's a W curve.
Yep.
Combines are more of a just kind of like they just kind of linger, you know what I mean?
They're still trying to develop a screen big enough to get to the bottom of that first part of the combine W curve, but they can't.
That's not true either. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there that can show you
the world's best computer people are trying to find where the bottom of that W goes.
There's plenty of opportunities out there where the combine market is not. It's not the devil people want to make it out to be.
Okay, who do you know intimately that sells a lot of combines and is sitting 3 feet from you?
Okay.
All right. The combine market sucks until there is a day where it's like, God, I wish we had more 1-year-old 780s.
I'm not going to disagree with you that the combine marketplace is not a struggle.
And it's never going to be better.
I'm not going to argue that with you. I'm not saying that it's gumdrops and candy canes and I'm the only one that sees the gumdrops and candy. I'm not saying that. What I'm telling you is the combine market problem that we have is, again, when we talked about this the first time, the combine is the most homogeneous thing that we can put on the place, on a farm. Right?
Real quick, I would like to give a shout out to my two buddies who emailed me and said, dude, I'm so glad you brought that up because I didn't know what the hell homogenized mean either. Thank you, guys.
But when you put those things out there and you're really paying attention to what that is, the combine market is you have to hit the trade cycles when they're available to be hit. Right? So what I'm saying to you is that when you have that 1-year-old combine that comes in and you go out and you put it on rent or you loan it or do whatever, you're doing that during peak cycle time, right? So if it doesn't go anywhere, It sits till the next peak cycle time. And then you put it back on rent or loan or whatever else again, which you're taking care of a customer, and I understand all that. But don't hate the combine because you took it out of time to sell.
I'm the most anti-rental human on earth, so why are you throwing that at me?
But what I'm saying is that's if you look at any age,
I know.
If you look at, there's only two reasons why a combine is still sitting on your lot.
Unavailable.
It's either priced wrong or it's unavailable.
Yep.
And
we have a combine right now that I could have sold 4 times last fall, but it was getting the 13.5 pip done, and now it's wrong.
So that's what it comes down to.
So that both become the same.
And it's been my experience in this business is that when combine buyers come to buy a combine, they're ready, just like they're buying the combine because they need to use it tomorrow.
Right.
Right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not like, and that's a very far-pitched thing that I threw out there. But really, when you really dive in to the combine buyer and what that looks like, if they're buying a combine in May, either the combine they have is tied up, it's down, or it's whatever, there might be some other extenuating circumstance in there, or they just now realized, damn, we need another combine.
Right.
So I'm coming to buy a combine, right?
Or they put it off as long as they can because it costs so much to trade combines every single time.
That's very true.
They dread it. They hate it. They know it's going to suck. They last minute the project.
That's the other option too. So I think at the end of the day, the combine situation is a situation that is driven by as much bad luck as good luck.
Yeah.
Right? If you really think about it and the flow of combine, don't get me wrong, there's too many combines on the marketplace, right? There's a lot of things in the marketplace too.
Right. You
can probably go down to there's probably too many rotary hose on the market right now. It's a saturated marketplace. The combine deal is, it's not necessarily a saturated marketplace, but there might be one level of the trade cycle that is saturated.
Yeah.
It's oversaturated.
Right.
And in order to get to this area here where all the problems at, you have to get through, 13 layers of crap to get to this place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's just a slow turn that gets you to where you're at. And combines are always going to be that way. That's still one of the most seasonal things out there. And yes, you can go back and you can look at all the different stuff that are out there on the marketplace and say that, you know what? We sell combines, as many combines in X month as we do as Y month. But there is still a seasonal peak, right?
Right.
There's still a peak in there, right? You might sell 15 combines in January. I promise you're selling more combines in April and May than you do in June or July. Right? Now, some of that's seasonal and where you're at in the country and those kind of things as to where crop cycles go. But at the end of the day, October through December is the peak selling time for combines. Well, October through February, peak selling times for combines. End of the year rush, and then the guys getting ready for the coming season. That's your biggest run.
Yeah.
But you still have a seasonal peak in April, May, and June. You still kind of have that. June's kind of tapering off, but it's coming down there. So sometimes I feel like combines are my small little friend in the bar that everybody wants to pick on.
Your bastard child,
redhead stepchild, whatever. But I think there's an opportunity there where combines have a play. You just have to know how to handle the washout cycle.
Yeah. I get it.
If you're front loading the front side of your washout cycle with 250-hour combines, and somehow you think you put yourself into this amazing situation, and there's nothing at the 500 and 750 and 1,000, 1,500 level, you don't have anything there. It's just like it's a boneyard. and somehow you're going to go out and find 25 or 30 or 40 people to go buy these 250-hour combines.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, never.
Not it will happen eventually, but it's not going to happen
not until they're 5 years old.
You know what I mean? You've got to have, and tractors the same way. If you front load the entire front of your washout cycle with a bunch of 100-hour and 300-hour and 500-hour tractors, and you don't have anything else, and you have just like a collective boneyard of stuff, you're still going to have a problem. It's going to take you a while to get that washout cycle leveled out.
Yep.
So there's combines have a more pronounced problem. It's easy to see.
Oh yeah, it's the in your face problem.
Right.
That's what everybody talks about.
Sometimes I feel tractors kind of like herpes. Sometimes just flares up on you.
There you go.
And all of a sudden you got a problem. You get one of those cool commercials on TV with
all good,
with the chick walking with the guy on the beach.
Damn.
Like, I just take this pill, and next thing you know, it's fine, and we're all good to go. So, good times.
Oh, goodness.
All right. I feel like I've ranted enough on this podcast.
We did it. We hit it nice. we did a good job tonight.
We had some rants in there. So obviously we don't have a deal of the week this week, do we?
No, we're gonna take Easter off.
We're gonna take Easter off. There we go.
There you go.
All right. So, Aaron Fintel, what is the easiest way to find you for the deal of the day that you have every day?
Every day. Every day is a deal day.
That's right.
If you're not dealing on that day, skip the day.
DOD, deal of the day.
The easiest way to catch me is call or text 308-760-1193. Big texter, so that's cool. If you got questions or whatever, shoot me a text. Or pretty active on the Ag Twitterverse at aaronfintel on there. Throw a lot of deals on there and a lot of iron discussion.
Yeah, there's plenty of good stuff there. So make sure if you're not following Aaron, make sure you follow him. There's plenty of good information that comes out of there. Plus, he posts a lot of really, really good deals out there. So make sure you check that out. If you're looking for me, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Also, go to MovingIronLLC.com. That's where you can find all the latest information having to do with anything moving iron related. Basically, go there. You can see podcast number 1 all the way through podcast number 212 that we're in right now. There's about, 500 and some odd podcasts that you can listen to. Also, any blogs that I have posted, you can check them out there as well. Also, go to MovingIronLLC.com and you can find all the great stuff that you're looking for when it comes to the Moving Iron Summit. So the Moving Iron Summit is a dealer-to-dealer networking, information sharing extravaganza. Pretty good way to put it.
It is.
Right?
It is. It's my personal highlight of the year.
Yep. So it's a good place to go meet a lot of dealers, put names to faces, but you also get a lot of great information from the speakers that are there. So if you're interested in that, go to MovingIronLLC.com and you can check out the Moving Iron Summit tab at the top. Click on that. All the speaker information, the agendas, all those things are all out there. How to register for the meeting, hotel rooms, all those kind of things. So check that out. Good place to go. If you get any questions about that, you can hit me up at MovingIronPodcast at MovingIronPodcast.com, and I will get back to you with any information you might have. So with that, I am Casey Seymour with Aaron Fintel. Let's go into some iron, folks. Out.
You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let Axon worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. Axon has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of Axon, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an Axon dealer, head over to axontire.com.
climbing higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for